Hello, we're doing a late night stream after a considerably long time, and it's a bit cryptic, the thumbnail and the title, but I'm going to be working on one of my projects. It's called OOUX Prototyper. I don't know if you know about this or not. I did like a very interesting stream where I explained all the stuff that I'll be doing in this app, and this was the last not Figma, but last diagram that we made. So I'm gonna start from there, but let me first quickly verify if my sound is audible on stream. The stuff that I'll be doing in this app, and it is. I can hear myself clearly, so that's more than good. Now I'm gonna put this somewhere so that I can read the chat. Okay, it's very complicated. Can I not? Okay, I can. Okay, so we're talking about the OOUX mapping tool. This is where I left off last time. We had a tool that allowed us create maps for your design projects or any projects in general. The map would be then converted into a JSON schema. You take that JSON schema, you give it to a LLM like Gemini 2.0, and then it would give you HTML CSS based front end. And then I thought I could just somehow figure out a way to ship that into a Figma frame so that you can go and experiment with it and do more and just build on top of it, because this is like your ideation phase. So this is the current prototype version that actually works. We have this is a prototyped version where I've hacked a bunch of stuff, but anyhow, let me quickly show you how it works right now. So I created a bunch of cards here, and basically this entire information architecture is of a movie streaming platform like Netflix. So we have some objects here. Objects are movie, TV shows, then they are connected to another object which is genre. Then we also have user object, the subscriptions object, which is also connected to user. Then we also have this is the user object, this is the playlist object, this is the recommendation object, the watch history, and all of these objects also have their attributes and the actions related to that. So for example, the subscription object has plan name, price, validity, and features as the attributes, and for the actions you have stuff like upgrade plan or cancel subscription. And now of course the subscription object is related to the user attribute, because users make subscription. So when you click on the line, it can show you which connection it is highlighted. So yeah, we have information architecture for a very basic movie streaming platform like Netflix. And if you made this, the next thing that you can do is you can click on this button, this little button here. This basically is the magic button, so I'm gonna click on it. And I forgot to add like a loader state before this stream, so we're gonna go to the console, and here we get the prompt that magic is happening, and it has sent some prompt to the LLM. So basically oh, I was just checking some messages. Anyways, so yeah, so when I hit the magic button, what's gonna happen is that based on the information diagram, information architecture of the platform that I've created here, we are going to get fully functional wireframes on our canvas, and it should happen any moment. As you can see, we now have the wireframes right here. So these are fully functional wireframes that are generated from the information architecture that we created for our app. As I showed you already, that all of these objects have attributes and actions, and those actions are converted into things like buttons. Those attributes are used to fill in details in the wireframes. So this is how it looks. Yeah, now you have like a movie app, the header, the recommendation page, and the trending movies. So this is the home page, and then a detail page for movie looks like this. You also get related movies. All of these buttons, basically they come from the actions that we have defined in the files. Again, this is playlist, and this is your user app, user page, and also your subscription page. And as I said, when you have like subscription object, you had two major things. One of them was that you can choose a subscription, and another thing was that you can cancel a subscription. So all of that is created for you. So you get all of these wireframes directly from the information architecture diagram that you create on the app. And this is how the current prototyped version looks. There are a few things. So I showed this version to a bunch of people, trying to figure out if this is like if this is actually useful or not. And I was just trying to gather feedback. So mainly the feedback that I got was like, we can categorize that into two different categories. One of the category was that some feedback was related to the UX of the app itself, like how I can improve the current UI and user experience on the application. So for example, one of the recurring thing that I noticed was the fact that these lines are very confusing, as to everything is moving. I don't really know which one is connected to which one. And yeah, so for that I got a bunch of feedback as to what I can try to do. I can try doing things like, for example, I can have all of these lines to be static, and when you click on them, we can change the color, and we can sort of, they can start moving like they are right now, only when you select them. So that is one thing that I can do, and that will improve the overall UX of the application. Other than that, I got a bunch of other feedback on the things that I was generating. So here's one very interesting thing that I'm going to show you. If you go to the movies tab, and right here you see the actions are play, add to playlist, like, dislike, and rate. And when I go here, I do get all the buttons for play, playlist, like, dislike, and rate. But say I want to change something. I mean, of course, this is not the final version, first of all. Second thing, this is HTML, CSS. In order for me to take this and get a Figma frame out of it, it's gonna take a little bit of effort on the consumer's end. And I'm not trying to like minimize the consumer's effort, but also it feels more like we are giving them an output. I don't want to give them an output. I instead want to give them, or basically support them when they try to iterate on their designs. So a better way to do that would be to do something that is intermediate between a final output, which is this, and something like the IA diagram, something that is in between of both of those two things. Plus, I really wanted to figure out if I can somehow have like a sort of a feedback loop between the user and the tool, because right now there is no feedback loop. I mean, you can of course do one thing, which is like you can go here and you can probably like add stuff, delete stuff here, and then based on that you can regenerate your outputs. But that is still a very linear process where your like user is giving some input here, and then they are hitting send, and then they're getting the output. Now that is very linear, and the user doesn't really feel like a part of the process, and that is something that I really want to focus on. I want to focus on figuring out how to make this such that the user is a very integral part of this entire design process. So for that reason, I decided that I won't be going forward with the iframes, the HTML, CSS kind of thingy. What I want to do instead, there is one option where I can totally go with iframes, but I won't. The thing that I want to do more importantly is that I want to figure out if I can do, so for example, if I can have like a brush tool here that you can select, and then I can just go here and then I can hover over and then brush this thing, highlight this thing, and then I can probably some text prompt pops up, text field or whatever, and I put some stuff there. I was like, oh, you know what, I want this rating to not be a button but like a 5-star where users can select stuff. How would that look? And then I hit enter, and then only this page would get a new variation. Say on top of here we get a new variation, and this new variation has the stuff that user wanted. If I can do that, that'll be more useful, because then user wouldn't like it'll be more, it'll feel a lot more it's like a feedback loop instead of a linear process where you're getting the output from the input. So that's kind of where we're gonna aim. So I was wondering if I can like instead of showing iframes, if I can do something like, say hypothetically, if I can have a image generated by the model, or I can have like a SVG generated by the model, because SVGs user can copy paste directly into their files. That is possible. The one thing that I still haven't figured out is, for example, right now for this kind of diagram, we have like a bunch of different pages, and when you have like bunch of different pages, one thing that becomes really obvious is that the model, when it tries to generate an output, it has to print a lot of things, and it kind of makes mistake when it have to print a lot of things. So that is one problem I still haven't figured out a solution for. Another thing that I still am not sure is, of course, I really don't know how to use the Gemini API in such a way that I can store the context. So for example, Gemini 2.0 API, what's happening right now is that when I give a prompt, it gives me an output, and then it forgets about the previous conversation because nobody is storing that anywhere. So I haven't been able to figure that out. I mean, I did not try figuring that out either, but we can do that right now. So I'll just go to ChatGPT real quick, and I'll ask the search, and I'll say I'm using Gemini API in my project where I make the API request to one of their model and get the response. All of this is fine. I'm gonna zoom in. All of this is fine, but the context of the previous messages is not saved in the API. It's not retained in the API, not saved. So retained in the API. Can you help me figure that out? Yeah, so this is one of the things that I need to figure out. Maybe I should like have a to-do list. Probably here we'll just make a to-do list of things that we need to figure out. How to, let's just select a better color. How to, that is a bad color. Where is white? Where is white? F 0 0 0 0. How to save chat context in Gemini API. That is one thing. Another thing that I have to figure out, image versus iframe versus SVGs, and then I have to figure out the brush tool and the chat prompt. And yeah, mainly these three things we are going to try and figure out. But before we do any of this, we still have to do one very important thing, and I'll get to it later, like a little bit later, because we do have like a prototype that works absolutely fine, that gives us the iframes, the websites based on the information architecture that you're making here. But there's one very important thing that's missing here, and we're gonna get to that in a bit. So let me first go here and see, to ensure that your application retains the context of previous messages, you need to manage and include the conversation history in each API request. Currently, API does not automatically maintain, so you can record an entire conversation. When making a new API request, include the previous messages in the payload. Okay, but this is very okay. So we're gonna get into a little bit of trouble if we try to do this. The messages array contain the sequence. Okay, be mindful of, exactly, this is the consideration. I don't want to hit the context window limit, so that is there. Okay, do we have some other free LLM API that retains the context out of the box? I can probably shift to some other thing. As we're talking about some other stuff, let me talk about Mistral AI, because yesterday I was going through a bunch of their models. They released a new model about 5 days ago, which is as good as any other model outside. I couldn't figure out how their pricing works, because they do allow you to, so if I go here and hit deploy, agent deployed successfully. So this is the free version. I've deployed an agent. Okay, I did not give it any prompt or whatever. I just used Mistral 2.1 large model. Now I want to see, so this is the API, this is the agent ID that you can copy. I've copied it. I'm showing everything on stream. I just hope that I don't get like a huge bill. I did not set up the pricing in the first place, but yeah. So yeah, I could not figure out how to set up pricing, or like how does the pricing part even work on this platform, the Mistral AI platform. So you create an agent, then you get to the API. Okay, this is fine. What is this? You get the usage part, which is okay. Limits. I'm gonna set up a limit of $0.5. Okay, I'm gonna set up a limit of 1, just to make sure if anybody ends up using my API keys, I don't go bankrupt. To ensure this is fine. Request per second, 1 request per second. In case, okay. So this is the limit probably. I can only make 1 request per second is still fine. Wait. I can give this many tokens per minute. Is this free of cost? I don't really know if this is free of cost or not. Anyways, so DeepSeek provides a cloud platform for ML with extensive support. Okay. I mean, DeepSeek has a longer window, context window, but then, okay, Mistral AI, which utilizes, I don't want to set them up manually. That will be pain. Then there is this, okay. So no, there is no API that I could find. So this part would be a lot more complicated, I guess. How to save chat in the API. This is gonna be a little more complex. I hate this color. Wait. Okay. I don't know how to do that. So this part would be a little more complex. Then the last part, brush tool and the chat prompt, that'll be very easy because I'm assuming or hoping they'll just be the UI part, the front end part. So I'm very confident I can do that. So majorly what our discussion is now is to figure out if we want to generate the image, iframe or an SVG. As usual, I'm gonna go to T3 chat. This is fine. Oh yeah, I gotta show you something else, which is, this is okay. If I go to my other repo, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to rewrite this entire app from scratch all over again in a different way. So there's like a very minor difference between this, the one for the one that I was showing for demo, this versus this. There's like a small difference. One of the differences is the change in the design language, no longer using Spectrum. No hate to Spectrum, I work on Spectrum web components. I just thought that it looks much cooler if I use like a more brutalistic style, so that's what we're going for. The cards are very much the same. I did not change a lot. The icons are different, of course, because I am now using SVGs instead of icons from Spectrum, and I removed the edit panel. So in this app you had an edit panel, but you no longer have that. I can show you the edit panel real quick. The edit panel was basically, if I click on a card, I would get this panel which I can use to do the same thing that I can do here also. Just a different option to do stuff. I just removed it because I thought maybe I don't need it in the prototyped version. So yeah, and now stuff works, but there is a lot of things that we need to change. All of this is editable. This is also editable. This is also editable. I don't think the delete or add button works yet, but that's exactly what we're going to try and do right now, so that's okay. So with that being said, let's get to the work. We'll first try to make this as close to the original demo as possible, and then after that we'll try to experiment with the Gemini API and see if we can generate images or some other form of media instead of HTML, CSS. Nothing against HTML CSS. I might actually consider using just HTML CSS and then figure out a way to convert that website into plain screenshots of some sort, maybe. Let's see. Or somebody put this idea in my head, which was like, how hard would it be for me to generate like real boxes? So for example, these are all boxes in a way, with different colors and different layout. So somebody was putting this idea in my head, like how hard would it be for you to take this and generate boxes that are interactable. So I can, for example, take this movie box and move it around this entire frame. And if I can do that, that would be a better way to get into the feedback loop with the model, because then I can just literally move a box, change a color or do something with that, and then hit regenerate, and it will generate the variations based on my interaction. Definitely way more cooler than what I'm doing right now, but let's see if I can do that. So I'm gonna write this down here as another thing that we need to try to figure out, which is can I generate native UI for Reactflow? Maybe 4 main questions, but before all of them I think we need to do one very important thing, which is clone the UI, clone the original UI. So that's like the bare minimum that we need to do. So let's try to do the first one. Yes, so not a lot of stuff is working here, that's why we are going to try and make that work. This add button doesn't really work right now, so let's go here. Let's check the add button. This is the add button, I guess. Yes. On click props.addRow, we have a addRow function in the props. So that basically means if I go to something like a card where I have the props, I should give a addRow function, and this addRow function, instead of dispatching stuff, it would literally do we have to do stuff here? If we're adding a row, I can literally just add that here. I can just remove this. We don't want to manage state here, do we? Actually, we want to manage state here because then it won't re-render. So let's remove this part, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the global state where we store the cards or the nodes. In this example, we're gonna have to change this. The global state can't be found. Now it will be found. And then what I can do is I can set up nodes from the global state, and then this add new function would work like that. I can just remove the props. So we are going to add here, and this generate ID I need to import again from the common utils, and then yeah, the nodes, any the nodes doesn't have to be any. I can like give a, probably we have a type for nodes, and that is essentially a card node. So we're going to import the card props because that's what our nodes are. Import card props, and then this node is card props. So that has an ID. Now it's saying that your prop doesn't have an ID. Prop doesn't really need an ID. You're doing +1. You go to the card, you scroll down to the section. Do we need to pass an ID to the section? A section basically shows the attribute. For example, okay, yeah, modify this a little bit. Okay, so a section, let's just quickly do the same here and just remove this. because we don't need that. And now, yeah, so a section has all the attributes. This is a section. If I want to add a new node, I can literally just add something to the nodes global state that we have. So doing that is equivalent of creating a new node. I don't really need to do this, do I? It's telling me that if node.id, okay, it's checking if node.id is props.id. Why do we have a props.id? I don't really need props.id. This is bad. Let's correct that to say that we are going to just set nodes, nodes.map, node card nodes. This set node function is this. Okay, this is weird. Why do we need a props.id here? I'm a little confused and lost, to be honest. What is this ID that we're expecting? If the ID of the node is equivalent of that, then you update it. Otherwise you don't update it. Otherwise you don't update the node, because you can have like a lot of nodes. Okay, so then that will be the card ID, whatever ID we have in the card, because we have the ID in the card, props.id. So I can just pass that like this. I can do ID props.id. I can just do the same here, and I can go here and I can say that my section has section props, which needs the ID. Okay, and this is fine. Yeah, never mind. So then when you do this, yeah, this works perfect. Great. So this is what we needed. We can create like that, and I'm hoping that if I click plus here, it would be created in this one only. Some new stuff, and that should work. Yeah, the state is preserved, everything looks fine. This is great. So this part is working. Let's just figure out how to let's just figure out how to add the delete part. So I think that'll be very straightforward as well. If you go here, this is the SVG for delete. So I'm just gonna add like a div right here, and I'm going to set this up so that it is very much similar to the add icon. Okay, well, this looks better for sure. It's just I feel like we have like a lot of distance between the two attributes now. So we're gonna try to figure out if I can remove that. So if I just go here and remove this gap to be 8 pixels or something, but that is a different distance, yeah. Then I can go to the section content row. There is no content row. There is section icon. And give it like a 3. This looks better-ish. I'm not sure how good that looks though. It doesn't look that bad, to be honest. It looks fine. It looks okay. I mean, it does look a little weird, but that's okay. Okay, I think that looks fine. So I'm just gonna go and say remove row, and we're gonna give it an ID of row ID, and we're gonna create a new function here, and we're going to call it remove row, and cursor is very smart. It will create a function that works. Yep, cursor is actually the smartest. Great. So this works, which is fine. Now we need to do one more thing here, which is I could see that I was not able to connect the right things. Before I do that, actually, you know what I want to do? I want to real quick go here and I want to real quickly add the styles on this handle, the target handle of the section row, so that when I hover over it, just like gives me a better idea that where do I have to attach the thing. So this is the left connector. I'm just gonna go here and we'll say yeah, let's just remove the opacity. Let's just say left -16, and let's also say height, width, position. We did not give it like a border radius, so we're gonna say border radius to be 0, but that's a square, so I'm going to give it a -10. Now it's almost there. Border left width, so that is still the entire border. I just want to have a border on the right. Border width 0, better. So now I kind of have a feeling where do I have to put this. Yeah, this is much better, a lot more useful, I'd say. Yep, I like this. I like it. I like this UI a lot. Now we don't want to have this moving always. We want to have a static version of it that should only move if. So this is the default edge. Let's see. Animated true. No, we don't want to animate that. So just create another one. Let's connect that. It's not animated. Great. This is the default edge style, which I don't think we have used anywhere. We did actually use it in the mini map for some reason, which I don't understand or remember, but yeah, the stroke width opacity, if I can just copy this here and say, hey, for your default width, let's give it that. Does that work? It kind of does, but it's not actually, it doesn't work. Type, oh, I did not give it a type, maybe that's why. So if I just go here and redo the whole thing, yeah, if I just go here, create another one, so that is fine. We have a smooth step thingy working, but when I click on it, I want it to change color and start animating. So it should change on the click. Snap to grid. See this prop to make the flow snap to grid. I don't really know what that does. Connection mode is used to set a mode of connection between two nodes. Loose mode allows connection source. Okay, we're gonna have a, I think this is fine because this means we can't do this. Actually we can, what the fuck? I don't think this is possible. Actually wait, no, this is possible, never mind. I was confused. So what that means is that we can't do this. We can't like connect the thing here. Another thing probably we can quickly make sure that we can't connect to itself. So on connect, we're gonna do this only after you get new edges like that. Do not add edge if the source and target are the same. So hopefully I can mitigate this. Yeah, now this doesn't work, which is great, although this would work. Does it? No, it doesn't. Great. So we kind of sorted most of our problems. Like, oh wait, I want to join this but I can't. I can join this but can't join that. Why? Probably in my Global state, I have done some stupid thing. Yes, I have. I'm gonna do 3 here, and now it should work fine. That was on me. Yeah. And then this. So this works now. Great. We have most of the stuff working in our application. That was quick, pretty quick. I mean, I like the fact that I was able to do such a quick, fast prototype for that, which is good. We can also connect these, of course, but we can have like a different type for them. So that's like we're working on a little bit of UX together. I have a few text messages to reply to. Okay. Okay. So basically, what I want to do is I want to have like a different connection for 2 things. I want to see if I can. Let me first change this because it looks ugly. That'll be inside of the card. Right here, this is source handle. The style is the handle style, which is here. Left -10. I don't know what I did, never mind. Yeah, let's increase that to something like 20 or maybe 12. Let's do margin left -10. That didn't really help for both because then I'll have to do like different styles, which I don't want to do. Okay, border radius, can I do 0? But that'll look just weird. You know what, I have an idea. I mean, I can just go here and say, left to be -10 for this, and I can say right to be -10 for that. Actually, it didn't work. Wait. So this is the source handle. Source handle should have left as -10. No, that's a bit too much. Left as 0. And this should have right as 0. That didn't work. Right as 40. No, nothing seemed to work. What is this handle? Position is handle.position. Okay. Can I do right handle.right? No, I can't because this is just weird. I can remove this. Yeah, that didn't really help. So we're just gonna stick to this. And we're going to say something like right 0, which won't work. And then I'll have to go here and say position absolute. So now that I've positioned it absolute, now I should be, this is the default handle config. Position right, position left, top 40. You would handle styles. I'm confused. I'm really confused. Wait, no. we should not try to complicate this. I'll just remove all of this, and let's not waste a lot of time here. We can just remove this, let it be 50%. We'll figure out how to make it look less ugly in a bit, but before we do that, there is more stuff that I want to do, which is I want to figure out how to change the styles when I have selected the handle. So for that, on select, I don't know if there's a thing called on select. Let's ask composer. So in Reactflow, when I select a edge, I want to update the styles. How can I do that? Also, let's just quickly go here and check the documentation because I don't want to make mistakes. Selection, exactly. So is there a way to figure out? Yes, you can use a hook that listens for change to both node and edge selection. The callback you provide will be called whenever the selection of either nodes or edges change. So this is asking me to. So this is fine. I don't want to do any of that. Okay. I don't want to do that. Nope. On edges change. If edge dot selected, then you update the. Okay, this part is cool. Then you update the selected style, and here I can say animated true. I will just accept that. And if I do that, if I just keep it like this here, I should be able to now have like a different style for selected. Yep. So for selected, we have a different style. The reason why I wanted to have that is, say you have like 3 and you create another one and you connect that here, and now it's kind of confusing. I don't know where things are connected. So if I click on something like say attribute, I know that okay, this is how it is connected. Great. I can click on something like this and I know okay, this is how it's connected. Is there a way for me to set up something like, wait, stroke width is fine. Let's see if there is a way to do more styles here. I don't know what these styles are honestly, so I'm just letting cursor do some crazy stuff because why not? I don't know. I don't know how these styles work, so I'm just gonna let cursor do its magic. This is much better. It's still not animated though. I would have loved if I could just animate this. I did animate it to true, which did not work for whatever reason. Yeah, I really don't know why it didn't work, but that's okay. Because I know if I just do like, say if I do animated true here, then everything is animated. But if I remove this and I do animated true here, it's not animated. That's some weird shit. I don't know why the thing is not animated, but it's okay. That is okay. It's still okay. Okay. One more thing that I want to do here is that I want to. Okay. Another thing that I want to do is know if there is a way for me to set up snapping behavior. So say I start an edge from some source, then the and if I get closer to any target, it can snap. So I want to see if I can have like snapping behavior, because this is fine. Like if I create a new one and if I go here, this is fine, but the snapping happens when I'm like really close. Can it happen like when I'm here? If that is possible, that'll be great. Let's see. There is a possibility. Wow, okay, that's fine. So we just had to do like add a small attribute of snap grid, and if I just go here, yep, this is fine, much better. Now as you can see, the snapping is working. I'm at a very considerable distance, but the snapping part works, so that's great. Okay, and I can create more, and I can add more, and I can add something like this. This looks much better, so much better than this earlier version, because it is just purely confusing, and I did not like how confusing it was. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out if we can generate JSON from that thing. So we're gonna add a button here, and that'll just give you the JSON. I don't know if that'll be useful, but let's try to do that. So for now, let's make sure that this magic button just gives you the JSON instead of the entire UI for your app. So yeah, let's quickly go here. I'm gonna close cursor because I'm gonna close composer because I don't need that. This is fine. So this works, right? So I'm gonna set up git add, git commit m, and this is basic demo version 1. This is working. Now we are at the second part, which is how to generate JSON from that. So we're gonna go to the toolbar component because this is where our button is. Now this button does not have a on-click handler right now, but we're gonna add that, and we're going to ask that handler to do some stuff for us. Just gonna be cool. Convert to JSON, and now this function we are going to import from the utils. So we're gonna go to our utils and create this function, convert to JSON, and we're going to kind of get nodes here because I need that, and here I can pass in the nodes, and we'll also probably be needing edges. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here in our state, and I'll create like another state which would be edges. Export const use global state set edges. We still need to figure out what this edge means, so that is there. And now with that being done, let's take this, let's go here. This is use global state. You know what I want to call that? Use nodes, use nodes, much better. So I'm gonna go here, use global state, and wherever I've used this, I will have to change that to use nodes because my use global state doesn't exist anymore. And with that small change, I have a feeling that it should not break. It is not breaking yet. So I'm gonna go here in the state. I love JustEnd. It's much more cleaner than Redux. It's unopinionated. It doesn't tell you to do things in a certain way, which is, if you couldn't guess so far, my favorite thing. I don't like it when people tell me how to do stuff. So that's there. This edge part, no, this is not from DOM, I'm sorry. Let me just import it from React, Reactflow React. So this is there, which is great. I want to go to the canvas and I want to save the edges. So this would be like that, and then edges is fine. On edges changed. Probably need to move this function a little bit. We're gonna return the new edges. Yes, you're going to do that, but wait, but you're probably gonna do this. I'm gonna call this let, and I'll remove this part. You're gonna return new edges, as well as you're gonna set them in your existent state management. And when you create a new edge, you have to set a new edge. And with that being said, I think we have done most of the things. Use nodes, this is fine. Okay, so this is great. I'm just gonna go here. Seems like you have not used system provider as an ancestor. What does that mean? Use nodes. I did not add another one. Use edges. Does that help? It does. Use edges have been already declared. Use edges was declared from here, so we're gonna take that out. We're gonna go here, call that use edges, so that we don't get the error in here. I don't need the global state. I need the card props, which I can import from here. No, wait, this one, let it be. Okay, now we're gonna try and see if it is still, oh no, it doesn't. It is invalid DOM property. Did you mean? This doesn't seem like an error to me. I think we got like a different error. I don't trust the hydration errors. So we got a different one. The edge part seems to work fine. If I connect something, I get an error. The error here is edges is not iterable. See, this error is very different than the actual error, which is kind of expected. Hello, you have a very interesting name. Whatever. Hello. Streaming. Just how are you? Sorry, I got distracted by a bunch of messages. So we still need to figure out how edges is not iterable. I don't know where we're using the edges, to be honest. This is fine. This part is fine. On nodes apply, this is fine. You create a new edge, you add that, and then you set the edges. You get the edges like that. You go to the global state, it's currently empty. Well, that is great. Where else are we using edges? You probably don't need this or this. Use edges, yes, exactly. Right, this is fine. This part, yeah, yep. I did not add the edges like that. And now probably let's see if that works now. I'm gonna connect that. No, it didn't. Edges is still not an iterable. I did not get like the exact place where the error happened. Update connection lookup, set edges. So when you create an edge here in the canvas, I'm doing set edges on connection. And that is what is giving me an error. So I'm gonna console log new edges to see if that actually kind of solves my problem. No, it didn't. So we still have the problem. It says set edges is happening somewhere else also, which is this. So I'm gonna again remove that, console log new edges. Let's see if we can resolve the issue. I read your blog too sometimes, the one which I receive over mail. I don't know what it's called. It's it's called Tarat's Week on Internet, and that's not a blog, that's my Substack, where I post a bunch of interesting stuff that I find on internet every few weeks. I try to do that like every 2 or 3 weeks, but I'm too lazy and I procrastinate a lot, so I end up not posting it as often as I like to. But this is a pretty cool place where you can find some really interesting links related to tech. If you're interested in AI or any other tech related stuff in general, and of course you get updates from my life. I don't know why you would need that, but I did this just because I like to keep track of and document everything that I'm doing. So for example, if I go back, say May 2024, what was I doing last year? The word was on the tip of my tongue, couldn't remember in the moment. Yeah, what did I do in 2024 May? I did a 10k every day for 5 days. You get the point. My point is I like to document stuff, and that's why this, and then everything else. Anyways, why am I still seeing this error? Edges is not an iterable. I don't remember setting the edges somewhere. The names might be a little confusing, to be honest. Yeah, see, this is another one. It's a confusing name. I should have figured out a better name. So what I'm gonna do is but this didn't throw an error. Interesting. I'm gonna say use global nodes. Why do I have a feeling use global state can itself have like both of the things? It can have like edges and a way to set edges. And if that's the case, I probably don't need to do all of the crazy stuff that I'm trying to do. I can just import this. I can go here and I can just say, hey, I need the nodes, I need the edges, I need set update nodes, or maybe something like set global nodes, set global edges. And the only reason why I want to call it global is to make sure that I don't confuse it with the naming style of Reactflow, because Reactflow also uses edges and nodes as the terminology, and it might be really confusing. So I'm just gonna update that real quick. So this is update. Oh wait, this is updated, which is very helpful. Now I can go here and I can say, okay, you know what? On edges change, you're going to set edges to be something else. So I'm gonna say set global edges. Is this, wait, it's very confusing. I don't really know. The whole terminology is very confusing. On edges change, you get a callback, and that callback, you can run stuff and you can update things here. Why are we using like a completely different method here? Why don't we just go with the callback? So I can just go and be like, on edges change, use callback, and I just set global edges to be the new stuff, and then I can import the use callback from React. Instead of use state, I can do use callback. And if I do that, what that allows me to do is again, on a new connection, I don't know if I can set global edges directly. This might like give me another error, but we're gonna give it a shot anyways. Set nodes. I have to update this to do this. Wow, amazing. And this also. Cursor is great. Cursor makes me feel like a superhuman because it just knows exactly what I'm trying to do. See, I'm just hitting tab every time I want to change something, because this is really good. Like, it knows exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay, time to see. Nodes is not defined. Yeah, nodes is not defined because I changed that to something else. I changed that to global nodes and global. So now let's try first if I can add one. Yeah, if I can add an attribute, if I can delete an attribute, if I can modify an attribute, if the state is preserved, if I can make a connection. No, I can't. This part is still there. I can't make a connection. I have a very strong feeling it's because of this. So we're gonna, because we're making a connection here and says that set global edges is not an iterable, which is okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here and set up a use callback instead of this. So this part just goes like that. We're gonna say const on connect use callback, and let's go. Wait, no, this time cursor did not do the right thing, the thing that I wanted it to do. Use callback, and like that we have the edges, and like that we have the styles. So no, it messed up, didn't it? No, it didn't. Set global edges. It's still making a loop. I don't want to have a loop. Okay, just gonna remove all of this. Okay, this is much better. Yeah, this is exactly how I wanted it to. Oh, very confusing. Just connect. This works. Everything works now, which is great. I can make changes. I can make another connection. No, I can't. Connections are not saved yet. Great. And the highlighting part doesn't work either. Two things that are still missing. You're adding a new edge, and in the global state you are we're gonna need a global function to add a node, which would just add a node. I can do something like I don't know if this works actually. I think it technically does the same thing. Yeah, it was doing the same thing. Yeah, every time I'm adding something, it's adding the same stuff. So we're going to console log the new edge and the global edges, because for some reason we are not able to add a new edge. So here we had this, and then I do this again, and we had the source handle, target handle. The source was the same, target was also the same. How come the target handle was the same? It should have been different. That is incorrect. Something is wrong here. Wait. Something is wrong. The onConnect doesn't work the way it is supposed to. Use callback onConnect on edges change is different. Cannot find set global edges. You can kind of find that, it's not a big deal. So when I create a new edge, that's a connection. And this is the on edges change, I guess. On edges change. Why do I have to oh, you know what, I'm gonna create like a basic example. Yeah, that is on that changed. Highlight the selected edges and that's it, I guess. I think I have to rewrite that. So you go to the selected edge and you update the style. Does that work? There's only one way to figure out. I just have to connect and then I have to click. It didn't actually work. It was working earlier. So I'm gonna go here and check that out real quick. We were just updating the style if the edge was selected. We were doing the same thing after we had applied the edge changes. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here, remove all of this, and we're going to say, just like we did earlier, we're gonna say new edges is this. We're gonna say new edges is this, and then we're going to set this. But before we do that, we're gonna go with new edges dot for each if it's selected. And this is an edge base. Okay, interesting, but that worked. All it matters is that worked. One thing worked. The other thing that is still not working is when I'm making connection. I was expecting a different thing than the one that is happening right now. So I'm just gonna say console.log params here, and this is a new edge. And then what I want to do is I'm going to set the global edges to be this, but I don't really need this. It sounds very redundant. We'll probably be looking at some performance issues because of the way we've implemented it. This new edge on connect. So there's an on connect and then there's a new edge, which is this new edge that we just had, which has a source and a target, which is very similar to the source and the target of the previous one. And that's the confusing part for me, because I'm like, what? Excuse me. Okay, something is not adding up here. Earlier in our connect function, we would have the add edge to add the edge. We have never added the edge on the canvas. So that will be simply just a new edge equal to add edge. New edges. Yep, this is something that we were missing because we were adding it in the global state, but we were never adding it in the Reactflow state, and that's why. Now we have everything working the way we wanted to. Both the edges and the nodes are being saved in the global state. So now we gotta figure out how to generate the JSON from that. I'm gonna define the type if we can global state export type global state. The use bound store API is not. Let's just ignore this error for now, just for now. Okay, we're gonna go to the main thing where we were supposed to make changes, which is the convert to JSON, and this is the thing. So if I have like a very simple app with just 2 connections and I click here, whatever I get is this, where I've got like 2 things. I've got I should have like a nodes and a edges thing printed. And what else I want to do is that I want to go in the global state and I want to have one more card with some more attributes which are different ID, and I want to have like this could be at 200, and I want to have a global edge, 1 or 2 of them, and then let's try to do that for, let's see how does that look. Okay, this looks very confusing. I do not want the cards to have so many edges. So this is there. Okay, and that needs to go a little more to the 800-ish position, and this could be a 0. Yeah, I can probably give it like 20 or whatever, and this could be a 600 or maybe even 400. I don't know. Kwanit, hello, how are you? I can do 100 here. Okay, this is very basic. Now what else do I want to have is that I want to have a slightly more complicated connection from the say one of the attributes here. I want that to be connected to something else. So how would that look? I don't really know. I don't really know how would that look. So I'm just gonna go to the canvas, and wherever we're adding an edge, I want to see how the connections look here. So I'm just gonna console log a new edge. This is how it looks. We're gonna have to give it a type. This is ID, source, target, and type. So we're gonna give it source and an ID. I don't know, ID could be a unique ID. Source, and then the source handle, which I'm assuming is the handle of the attribute, and then the style. Okay, and the target, and the target handle. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that we have to put in there, so let's just do that. ID could be 2, source could be 1 again, source handle could be different, And now if I reload this, no, I don't see that yet. Target handle has to have like a different ID, because my target handle is very complicated. Yeah, so this looks good now, sort of. Yeah, it looks good now. Okay, I'm just gonna make like one more connection before I move to the more interesting part. Okay, so this is a weird connection. I don't want to have a connection from 2 to 3. I want to have a connection from 1 to 2, and let's get a ID, say 3, and I'll go to something like that. Yeah, but it also have to make sense. Wait, so whatever I'm doing, it has to make sense. It's gonna become very complicated if I try to make it make sense. But let's see if I can design the nodes in such a way that it actually makes a little bit of sense. So these are my nodes. Nodes have the ID, the type, position, and some data attributes. It's still missing a very important stuff, which is the label, and I wonder where the label is coming from on the nodes directly. Props.label from the section which is in the cards, I guess. There's a cards, and in here I wonder where the label is coming from. It's not coming from anywhere. It's supposed to have like a name, and the name is what we need here. Name, and let's say name is to do, attribute is content, and date, due date. Action is add, another action could be delete, then another could be edit. Similarly, the second card, sorry, the card is fine. I need a name. Could be in progress is an object. It'll have some content, due date, and actions would be to add, for example. So this name comes from here. We don't define like a name anywhere, which we should probably, but I still don't see that. So this name is what I need. I'm gonna print the props real quick. ID, data type. Okay, so probably I can't like put a name there. I'll have to put it in the data. So let's just grab this and put the name in the right place. So this, it's working. Yeah, so now we have a to do in progress. The content wouldn't be connected to content at all, but that's okay. So now I want to figure out how would a UX mapping for a simple to-do app would look like. Or maybe a sign-in feature, that'll be more, I don't know, probably. Let's ask. Okay, I have already asked ChatGPT this question, so we're gonna go to that. We're going to go like, no, this is the answer. Okay, so I wanna I want to try out something very simple this time. So let's do, say, a login page. Make a JSON for OUX JSON for a simple login page feature. How would that look? Because this, I'm hoping, is gonna be like a lot more simpler. There's gonna be a login form. It looks very ugly when you put it like this. Anyways, this just let's create like a different file. Yep. Okay. So what was it trying to do? It's just trying to import random stuff. We can have like a login form, email, and this would be the password. The actions would be to submit, reset, and that's it. There's gonna be another thing. I want, like, okay, this is fine. I want an example of at least 2 or 3 objects, and I want some relationships sort of also. I mean, I have a relationship, but that was a bad joke. It's 12 almost now, and I'm still streaming. Okay, now we have a bunch of stuff here. So let's try this. The login form is very much the same. The relationship is different in a sense that the login form belongs to the user, and there is some sort of a description to that. We're gonna figure out how to do the relationships, but the other thing is that we're gonna have a user. User is gonna have like a user ID, email, and say something like a name. I love how cursor has context, so it was able to figure out that I'm taking data from the JSON and trying to make an object here on the other side. Yeah, so update, logout, these are 2 things that the user would have, and this is, okay, that's a bit weird. I'll just put it there and move that to the side so that things look much better now than it was looking. Just put that here, and then relationships I can't really set up like that, but then we have user, and we also have like a session. I don't know, session is something we probably don't need, so this is fine. But now when it comes to edges, this is interesting. The edges will be such that the user has a profile. So user is connected to profile. Sleepy. This is fine. Don't think card to card does exist on that, but yeah. So login form is connected to user in our case. How does that work? Okay, so this is complicated and confusing, so let let's just go through it one by one. Can you generate an image to show me how the connections would look like in the objects? I don't know if it can generate image now. Oh, it can. Great. I just hope that it generates the image of the thing that it asked me to do. I doubt though. This is not Claude. Claude can do that. What the fuck is this? No, this is bad. OOUX map example. And I get like a mapping example. This is also one of the good examples. So you have an account that is connected to name, email address, there is some metadata, and there is of course the actions, and now you can connect that. So you're creating an OOUX object map in ThoughtFlow. I don't know what.
So the first example.
I was using my competitor. That was a joke, by the way. This is horrible. Mine is much easier, though it looks much better. So you create these objects, which is cool, and you set up this stuff, which is also cool. But then how do you define the relationships? You literally say has a relation, and then you say has many family members signed up. So you're literally like setting up the relationships, which kind of makes sense to be honest, but I was just hoping that we could figure out the relationships from the connections. For example, movie has a genre, and what that basically means is, what that basically tells the tool is that if I go to the JSON, movie has a relationship to genre and related movies, and if I go to genre, it has a relationship to movies. Relationship is movies, not movie. Okay, how does this work? I'm still not fully sure if I understand the concept of relationships. A movie can have like a lot of genre. No, a genre can have like a lot of movies, and a movie can belong to a genre. So login form could be related to a lot of users. So instead of a login form, let's have like an account, because that's more understandable. Profile is a better word. And then login or log out or update profile. So profile is in a way connected to a user. Just here what I'm gonna do. Wait, let's do 2 to 1. Let's do -500. Yeah, so a user is connected to a profile. A user is connected to a profile. Like a user can have a lot of profiles, and the profile can have one user. Then what? Why would we ever have to do this? Because User having a profile is fine. We're getting some error here. Children with the same keys is not good. I'm sorry. We'll change that. And yeah. Okay, so I was wondering, wait, so a user can have like profile, and a profile has a bunch of stuff. A user can also have something like say preferences, maybe. Say hypothetically user can have a profile. This is a user can have a profile. Profile could be just an attribute of the user. Instead of having to set this up the way I am, I should have probably just have like a profile attribute, profile, and I could just do like source handle to be 3, the source handle from the user. Wait, this is incorrect. It's very confusing now. I'm extremely confused, but okay. User can have like a ID and a profile, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the user profile and I want to connect that to the profile, and it'll be connected to the profile directly, so we don't need the target handle for that. So this is how it looks. Okay, I will just update the styles a little bit so it looks a less ugly. Not like that, but like this. Yeah, so now a user can have a profile. A profile is an object of its own with email, password, and a few other stuff. User can also have a user ID. There's a update profile and a logout action on the user ID. We can have like a login form which needs okay, so we have user and their account, and I want to have another attribute of say liked post or something like that. Say I have another node here, and I'm gonna call this like liked post. ID is 3 card, and we're gonna do a to do, for example, could be a good post. Yeah, to do is the name. We're gonna have an attribute content, and then of course the due date, and I'll just set up the action to be add. This has to be different and unique. Delete, this has to be different. And just add a comma here. So now we have a to do. A user can have to do's, so we're gonna set up the user to have to do's. It would have been so much easier if I were just doing this, you know, instead of updating the JSON. If I were literally doing this, it would have been so much easier. I'm so stupid, oh my god. But okay, if we've gotten ourselves into this mess, so yeah, let's just do. So a user can have to do's. Where's the user card? This is a user card. We have a profile. We're gonna have to do's, and the connection we have to set up from this in the user to the source handle is this, the source is 2, and the target is 1 or 3 in this case. So now we have a user has a profile and a to do, which is great. To do has a bunch of stuff, bunch of actions, Same goes for all other cards. I wonder if it makes sense to have like a HTML. I don't know what it would do, to be honest. It might probably just have 2 pages, a user profile page and a list where you can just show the to-dos. So anyways, so this is what we have here. Now what I want to do is I want to go here in the commons. We're getting the, let's just go to the canvas, remove the console logs. So that's kind of irritating now. I hope I've removed the console logs from most of the places. Now I have. Okay, so now when I click here, I get a list of all the nodes, I get a list of all the edges, and then what I want to do is I want to take this, I want to see if I can convert it into the JSON that I was sending to the model earlier. But before I do that, I want to see if I can take this JSON as it is and give it to the model and expect it to get like decent results or even half decent results. Okay, how do I want to do this? I can copy this object, I can go here, I can go here, okay, can you do it for this JSON? I need the HTML CSS in one file and separate files for separate pages. The idea is same. This is an OO UX mapping. We have nodes, objects, and the edges, relationships. Let's paste the nodes and let's also paste the edges. I'm being extremely optimistic here when I say that this might actually work. Why the fuck? Oh, okay. We have like a measured and all those stuff which we don't really need, but I can remove that. So there is a home page, there's a user page, there's a profile page, there's a to-do page, and there's a shared style sheet. Okay, great. Let's take this and let's go to Claude. Let's also get like online HTML viewer. We'll just compare the results. The home page is like that. Just gonna put it here. This is the home page. I don't know if I can like have the styles somewhere. Probably I mean putting them outside doesn't work. I know. I just put it here inside of a style tag, so that's better. Let's try to get the user page. I'm just gonna copy the body part, everything else stays the same more or less. Okay, so we have user ID, we have a view profile and a view to-dos. Okay, it's not bad actually. It's not actually bad. I think it did like a decent job, to be honest. Do you want me to try hooking it up to the Gemini API directly? I can do that. I can definitely do that. The way I would do that is I'm gonna go here in the toolbar, actually I'm gonna go and create like a bunch of functions here. I don't need the convert to JSON probably, but okay. And now I keep it here, never mind. We're just gonna pretend like the API keys doesn't really do anything. So I'm gonna import generative model here. Actually, let's create a new file. We're gonna call it inference.tsx. We're gonna import the model here. We're gonna have the random ID. No, we don't really need that. We're gonna have the generate prompt. We are going to have the load model as it is, and we're gonna have the get model. In the use effect, actually you just load the model like that, it returns you the model, and when you get the model you can export this function. Can you? Yeah. And then you can have like a generate code which will do some stuff. We'll get to that. Basically, if there's no model, then we don't do anything. Otherwise we just do this. We get the pages. I don't want to load the model every time I generate code, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to do that in, I don't know. Let's see. There is this JSON which we are not using anywhere, but I'm gonna give it nodes and edges. You're an expert. JSON, you provide with 2 JSON files, nodes and edges. Nodes is basically the objects, this relationship, attributes, actions, and relationships. Okay, please use this as an array. Here is your JSON. We're gonna go nodes and edges, and we're gonna make this so that we take the nodes and edges, and I don't really want to do a forced type check here, so that's fine. This is a good enough prompt. Generate prompt from nodes and edges, and we replace that. We get the JSON, which I don't want to print. We got the JSON object, which I also don't want to print. Got the pages, and then instead of saving the pages, we can show them somehow. I don't really know how. For now, I don't want to complicate stuff here, so I'm just gonna be like, return the pages for now. Yeah, let's just return the pages for now. That seems like a easy thing to do and the right thing to do right now. Just gonna go here and grab the generate code, and instead of doing this, I'm gonna say, hey, why don't you generate code? I don't need that. So when you go here, you need nodes, edges. You going to say that I have loaded the model and you're gonna say I've gotten some result, and then of course the some object. And now that you're like returning stuff, can I wrap that up and be like, hello, I am getting the pages like that. I'm gonna go here. Since I'm not printing them, I will print them here, and I will sort of save the pages to the device. So just force download the pages like that. And we have to do async await, because the generate code is an async function, and that's it, I guess. We're not getting an HTML, we're getting a JSON. So I'm gonna say save the pages, the array of, it's a JSON array, is it? It's not a JSON array. Inference, it is a result. Yeah, it's a JSON object basically, and when you do pages, it's basically an array, the array of HTML files. So I'd rather be saving it as a JSON, probably. Yeah, okay, makes a lot more sense. You want me to try this now? I'm going to reload. I'm going to say do some magic. So we're going to load the model, which was pretty fast, annoyingly fast. I'm surprised that was it so fast, and it makes me wonder if it actually is working, but we're gonna give it some time. Okay, so we got some pages in the JSON file. So this is my JSON file. I'm gonna take this file to prettier print. I got some HTML. Okay, that's cool. We got a lot of HTML and the JSON. I think now we can move to the part where we can show the iframes here of whatever is being generated, because this looks good-ish. I'm gonna say that this looks great, but it looks kind of okay, manageable. This is the HTML file. So if I just take that and paste it here, this is the login page that it created. Do we have like a thing for login? We did not. It just assumed for some reason that we're gonna be having a login thing. Copy for profile. Let's see, what did we get? Copy string content. This is the profile where we got email, an option to update and whatever. That is fine, still fine, doable. This one was the user ID, profile, view to-dos, view profile, update and log out, view to-dos, view profile. Okay. I don't know what this means, honestly. It's kind of, but it is able to make a little bit of sense of what I'm trying to do here. Then there is a to-do list which it made because we had to-dos, and this it did like a great job because to-dos are easier to make. Copy string content, paste, and then there is the update profile, because we had like a update profile action here. Now it created the files, so that is there. What I wanted to do was do not create unnecessary or extra pages, then are not explicitly mentioned in the JSONs. I mean, this is like just one small thing that I would suggest my model to do. It's like I'm giving it some ideas of what to do. With that being said, there's one last thing that I want to do before closing the stream today, because it's been very productive and I don't want to go right now. So I don't know if you remember this. We managed to clone the UI and we haven't been able to do any of these things, but hey, we managed to clone the UI. That's a +1. At least there's one last thing that I need to do in order for me to say that I've cloned the UI, and that one last thing is just that we need this is a card type node. I'm gonna create like a iframe node because I want to show the iframe.tsx and the styles.css. Before I do that, let me go to the toolbar and let me just pause this thing real quick. Go to generate code. In the prompt, I want to say that give me the SVG files. SVG, and I'll just assume that this of those pages as an array. So now this is another thing that I want to try. I want to see if the model can actually sort of give me the SVG files instead of HTML CSS. But like I ask it to generate HTML CSS, but then I want to get SVGs, and that is the interesting part for me, because directly generating SVGs is different. SVG viewer. See, this is cool. Oh my god, I'm impressed. Okay, there was a profile, there is a user page, and this is very cool. User ID, profile, to-dos, update, logout, something like that. I mean, it's not like super useful right now, but hey, we get the SVGs. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out the, let's not call it the iframe, let's call it the content viewer node, and in here let's have like a content viewer.tsx. I'm just gonna go here. It's gonna be very similar to the original. I really like you even using that somewhere. We are. It's not able to find the type declaration for that. But that is working. Anyways, content viewer is this. The cool thing about content viewer is that it's not gonna use the global state for now. Let's see, how did we make our SVG viewer node? So we had an iframe viewer node which was showing the iframe viewer component. Okay, I don't really know how to show like SVGs, So SVGs, how to show SVGs in Reactflow. Edge markers, SVGs. This is okay, but I don't want to animate stuff. Let's go here. Okay, so I am using Reactflow, or I can just go here and try that thing in the content viewer. Let's ask it. Okay, so this content viewer node is basically where I'll show the SVGs generated from the AI model. Can you help me write that? It will be much faster if I let cursor do its thing instead of going to the documentation and trying to do that myself. This is trying to figure out where am I generating the SVGs. I'm generating SVGs from the inference file in the toolbar. Yes. Okay. Connect to the global state to access the generate SVGs. Add styling, add a container. So I just needed this part, which is great. I'm gonna get data, current SVG, pages, page index, use effect, global state, and dangerously set the SVG. Okay, not bad. Fine. You're trying to change other stuff. Yes, you're also having pages here, but that means you're gonna have to put it in the inference file, which I did, and then there was some TypeScript error, which it would fix. I hope it's not forcing something on me. It's not. Okay. And now the content viewer should use the state from the global state where we are setting the pages, and then it's going to show me the content like this. Perfect. I think this is gonna work out just fine. To test this out real quick, what's this error? Okay, I have no idea. This is gonna hit this. So we have now loaded the model. We're gonna try to see if the SVGs do get generated. They get generated. I forgot to do one very important part. I literally forgot to write code to put the generated SVGs on the canvas. It's a very stupid thing. Yeah, so where was I? I'm supposed to go to the toolbar. In my defense, it's 12:35 a.m. Kind of sleepy. Go to the generate code. You're setting the pages here, and basically I'm gonna ask cursor again because this is the person who wrote that code. Good that you did all of that, but lol, I still don't see the SVGs on the canvas, the Reactflow canvas. I wanna have it such that when the SVGs are generated, I see them on the canvas too. I mean, it did exactly what I asked it to do, which was to write the code for content viewer, but I did not ask it to figure out how to show the SVGs. Now we're gonna try to do that. So it's going to just add new nodes. The node type is gonna be content viewer, and the positioning would be okay. It's stacking them vertically, which is okay. I don't mind that. It's okay. I'm fine with that. And now it needs to register the content viewer, so it's gonna go to the what is it called again? It's called canvas. It's gonna go to the canvas and add some stuff here as expected. With that being said, let's go here and let's hope that this time let's just hope that this time cursor did its magic and we will see SVGs vertically stacked based on the stuff that we've created here. Because if that works, it's like we have done more than enough. Yes, we have done more than enough. Great. So that did work. This did not work, but part of it did. Now these are simple SVGs. I can play around with them. This is the to-do part. This is the user profile. The text did not come out nicely, but that's okay. Yeah, so I did some things. Let's try one quick thing here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna sort of remove the profile, and then we are going to remove the profile from here and add another action. Oh, not this. Oh no, I found a bug. Anyways, let's just have this and let's reload and let's see some other outputs. This was fine. I want to see some other outputs here again, hopefully soon enough. So I got more outputs now. Got like a to-do list. This is supposed to be like a resizable thing, but it's not. Add to-do user profile. I don't know why we have two user profile, but okay. And two to-do list. At least it doesn't have the, wait, it still has the user profile, because there is an update profile. I don't know why. Maybe I messed up something. Maybe I can delete these again, and let's just have to-dos for the user login. Do you think this is gonna work? I hope it does. I'm very tired. The outputs are like very pathetic right now, but okay. So we have the user, which has the update profile and logout. I don't know why it has update profile. I clearly don't have an action here, but the user part is done. The user part is done. And then the to-dos, of course, which is like a list of content. There's a delete option, there's an add to-do option, and it's basically a list. I was hoping that there'd be an option to see to-dos because user has to-dos, but this part was missed clearly. That's okay. It's totally fine. Alright, I'm tired. This is great. It works. Just gonna do a commit, add content viewer, and it kinda works. Yo, I don't want to push. Anyways, so yeah, this kind of works. It's not like the most perfect thing in the world right now, but we can create some sort of starting point from the information architecture diagram on our map to wire tool. If you haven't noticed, I've switched from calling it OOUX prototype to map to wire. I just found this name to be much cooler. Anyhow, that's it. I'm gonna end the stream now. I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you for joining, everybody.